Hello and welcome to a very wet and windy, doesn't seem to be windy here, but it is windy, Dyfi Bike Park for a special episode of the vlog. I've come straight from, well, not straight from Champery, had a weekend at home, but the bike has come straight from Champery, which was dry and dusty and steep, and now we're here at Dyfi, which is very different to that, but we're here for something very special. I'm going to be riding today with Chris Porter, Mr Mojo Suspension, Mr Geometron, first ever guest with Joe Breeden on the podcast, and we're here kind of prepping for another episode of the podcast, something that's hopefully going to happen probably at the end of the season, and hopefully with Dak Norton as well, on the future of bike design and development and suspension and all those things that they will talk about at length, probably far beyond my knowledge. But we're here today just to do some prep for that. Anybody who'll know me knows that I ride a Geometron. It's changed the way changed how successful I've been, really. One of the key things about it, just having a bike that fits. And they're here today to do some bike setup, to try some things, to work with Chris to see if I'm going as fast as I can. Hopefully be an interesting process. He has many different ideas about things, and yeah, I'm willing to try anything. So let's go, let's see how we go. Mr Porter is here. How are we doing, sir?
Not too bad, with the Frisian race bike.
Oh, look at her.
Is it a Frisian?
Snow leopard.
It's a snow leopard.
Snow leopard, apparently.
So it's not a cow.
A cow with yellow bits.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
She's a beaut, mate.
She's come straight from Champery.
Yeah.
And we were just discussing the setup, the tweaks that I did for Champery. So this fork, I would never ever have this fork as stiff as that.
And so a couple of things
stack.
that George did for Champery. He's lifted the bar to high heaven, because obviously the average angle of Champery is quite steep, and the average angle of what George has been running in the rest of the UK tracks a bit flatter. So when you tip the bike down like this, something has to come back up, or you end up stretching down to the handlebars like this. So another thing George did was go, right, I'm probably a bit heavier than George, and that is fucking stiff. And
fast.
High bar, stiff, fast for recovery up, and on the rear, nice and slow. And those are all really good, sensible things to do, faced with Champery as an older gentleman.
And how do we think it's going to fare here at Dyfi today?
I think you might find it super uncomfortable, but we'll go and try it. You might find you've hit upon the
the sweet spot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you might be golden, brother.
Let's go and give it a go.
Two big takeaways from that are: don't ride in the rain, don't ride in the water, ride off to the side. And the second takeaway is that when you let go and you're riding at a comfortable trail pace, let's call it the trail speed, you know, every speed has its trail. If you were racing, you'd probably work a little harder, but you're in a nice, comfortable place on the easy bits. Your trail speed was slower than mine, and that's because of that rear tyre. So that tells us a lot, because those comfortable bits are the fastest bits of the track, aren't they?
Yeah.
So we need, so if I was your crew manager and we're looking to go faster, this weekend and the conditions are like that, then do you know what I'd be putting on the rear for you?
The orange one, not the purple one.
A semi-fucking slip.
In there?
Yeah, because it's not slippy.
No, the back does just follow.
There's berms fucking everywhere. There's only a couple of routes, and they're on the bits where you can let it go and find the catch. Literally.
Okay. Right.
That's what I do.
I haven't got a semi-slick.
No,
I've got a different compound. Got a Mary in a different compound.
So that's what we do next. But do you know what? Let's just ride.
Yeah.
And let's try a couple of real simple things first to get a feel, because we already know that what you did for Champery isn't going to work on this track. So let's just change those things first, and then we'll go looking for speed, because tomorrow it might be dry. Yeah, so try and stay out of the stream if you can.
Yeah.
And when we're on the really flat bit, don't pedal, just get into a tuck. And let's see if that brings you more speed along the next section. Alright, happy with that?
Yeah. Ready?
Yeah, ready when you are.
To the bottom.
Well, yeah, I feel like I had loads more grip in the turns.
Yeah, a lot more grip in the turns. So what we've done, camera clean. Clean there.
Yeah.
So we've gone back to pre-Champery settings on the suspension. Pretty much, we only went halfway on the compression on the back, didn't we?
Yeah.
But kept the high bars, but rolled them forward to try and put a bit more weight over the front. And
we sped the rebound up at the rear to sit that up as well, to also mean that it rides generally higher, and that generally higher rear end will generally load the front more as well.
a lot more grip on that one.
Yeah, but that's only momentary, because then it sinks into the travel, so that damping's only momentary, but it recovers that bit higher.
Yeah.
So
oh. Feels good through there.
yeah, you're keeping speed well.
The downside of the faster suspension is on those kind of jumps there.
Yeah.
Those little ones that kick you.
So yeah, let's so you're doing that.
Yeah.
Yes, that is the downside, but that's why you've got clips and you're tall enough to do that.
Yeah, it's just more being aware, isn't it, that those are probably going to kick the back end up a little bit, because they're so short that they're front is coming down before the back's even gone up.
Yeah. Yeah. It's yeah, they are short and kicky, and you have to treat with massive respect, because that's the way to go with bars, isn't it? So
you think we can go further forward than
it's always possible. Whether it's a good idea or not, we'll find out. That's the point of testing, isn't it? Is to find the limit. So we moved it forward.
Yeah.
You liked it more, especially on this track, which is flatter than the last one you were riding.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. So why not try a little more? If it's too far, then you have an answer. Honestly, I think you'll probably enjoy it.
Even more grip on the front end.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. You're a big bloke on a big bike, but it's not the biggest bike you own, so maybe you do need
even more
a bit more space. If that becomes good, but we start to lose confidence in the steeper stuff on the brakes, we might have to put more pressure in that, or a small softer spring on that to bring you down.
Let's go.
Wow! On the rear, I was softening that off, wasn't I? Which we haven't got.
We haven't got a socket, have we?
No, but what I normally do is I'll jam the 6mm Allen key in with my 17mm span.
So has that gone back towards where I was at Champery, or has it gone back to where I was before we went? Because it's
going back to Champery, but now, because as you've moved forward, you've come off the back.
Yeah.
So you're unweighting the back.
Yeah.
As if you were riding down a steeper track.
Right. Okay.
So.
Right. 522. The 522.
You were going even better there, weren't you?
I was. I was going down going, I don't think it's as good, I don't think it's as good. But then there were other bits where I was like, the grip there is amazing.
So what I noticed straight away was you were taking all straight lines.
Yeah.
Because you had confidence.
Yeah.
And I had to really fucking work hard to try and catch you back after the steep bit.
Yeah.
Because you got away and I was definitely going quicker than last time. You looked super comfortable.
Felt comfortable.
Yeah. So we haven't reached the limit yet, have we?
Do we get to a point though where you need a longer stem rather than a... I've got a 50mm stem.
Are you comfortable on it?
Yeah.
That's fine. No, that's what it's about, isn't it?
Whew. So, just done a full run, and we were going to put a spacer under the stem. Get the front end up even higher, because I was rolled the bars forward and feeling more comfortable. But we didn't have the right bolts, so we've gone with a different stem, which has got a 10mm rise in it, and is 50mm long rather than 41.5. Hope's 41.5.
So it's come slightly forward, but because there's more rise, it will have come slightly back as well. So it'll be like a halfway house on the stem length.
Yeah.
But definitely more coming up. So it's done 10 of that.
Yeah.
10 of this.
Yeah.
But because we've done that angle,
rolled the bars back.
Done full 10 here.
Yeah. And compared to where you thought we'd be before we started riding.
Well, that's the thing, you know, what we had in mind of the things that we test.
Yeah.
Knowing the track and me being told by one of the lads at work, you know, racetrack, it's the traverse, mate. That's where you're going to lose all your time. So the things that we thought we were going to do just melted once we had contact with the reality of the situation. Once tyres got on dirt, it became obvious, a few things became obvious due to what you'd done with your Champery setup. We reversed the Champery setup, and that was such a good move with the bars,
yeah,
and with the suspension and the rider space and the balance of the bike. We thought, we ain't finished yet, let's go further in that, yeah, direction. So now we ended up with bars that look comedy roll forward, you know, like literally they look,
yeah, they did, yeah.
But the grip and hand angle is still really good, you know, it's still really good.
Yeah.
And you're enjoying riding it. So until we get too far, let's do it. And you're, you know, looking a lot more comfortable straight away. You're doing the things that you've been backing off from doing, yeah, the last couple of runs down. You've just sailed over them, and your average speed across that traverse has just become like, I reckon that's solid now. That's not a one-off. No. That's in there solidly. That speed across the traverse. So now we can build on that, looking for extra rolling speed.
So for all the tea in China, I thought that by now I'd be back on the 40mm rise bars. I didn't think we'd be sticking with these, but it's working. It's working. Let's go and do another one. Yeah, just one other thing before we go. So, quite interestingly, I have got a 60mm rise bar and a 10mm rise stem. And before we put this 10mm rise stem on, we're not really level there, are we? Our bar hearts bikes were pretty much the same.
Yeah, so
but I've gone up now.
So if you're there,
yeah,
and
so it's about 10mm difference now.
No, a bit more than that, like 20
more now.
20 or 30, but at the same time, you know, it's not ridiculous for someone who's that much taller than me.
Yeah. Right.
Ready when you are.
Going on 20 seconds. 30. Oh.
You were trying then, weren't you?
Yeah, that was fast, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's about moved 10 seconds faster than the run before.
Yeah, you were hauling, so having a bit of damping meant I could keep you in sight.
Yeah.
Which meant that I had to work hard to catch you, which meant that I'm fucking panting.
I'm the same though.
Yeah.
I pushed.
So, and what's really interesting, at the very fastest bits of the track,
Yeah.
I'm catching you.
Right.
And I think that's just rolling speed on the tyre.
Right, okay.
The other place I'm catching you is, so I'm just trying to think, so where we stopped a couple of times, and you go down, you're in the tight turns in the woods.
Yeah.
Until your nemesis, the corner, and there's a couple more after that, isn't there?
Yeah.
But that section, this seems to be turning better than that. Now, you had a fucking good line on your nemesis corner this time.
Slowed right down and
Yeah.
but I did, I got
But it was
across
really
and got
lovely.
high. Yeah, it was great, yeah.
So
I need to look the GoPro back and see where I went, because I didn't intentionally do something.
yeah. So my view of that, if I wanted to improve rolling speed anymore, is I would be going to a harder rear tyre. The only thing about that is you'd then be on this compound,
Yeah.
which was kicking over all the roots. So as long as you're set, it won't matter. But if you're still making your mind up,
Yeah.
it was dicey on
Was
the
it?
Yeah, dicey.
This
But
was
as long
alright,
as you,
yeah.
but because I was picking straight lines going, this is dicey, it's kind of catching you.
Yeah.
Maybe you have too much grip for those sections.
Maybe put a bit more air in.
Are you feeling,
I tell you what, I did notice that run because I remember saying it on the GoPro.
yeah,
Bottom the front out.
right, okay.
Like it was a big. I mean,
Yeah, you've done it, yeah.
it was a bang. You know,
Yeah.
it was right at
Okay.
the top as well. Last run of the day, and all we've done for this one is move the bars a bit further forward.
Yeah, so nice steady.
Steady run.
Push on if you want to pedal, but you know, it's about feeling what the bike's doing.
Yeah. 5. Oh, it's 5:12. A bit squirrely on.
I saw, what was that? Did the front go as you were going into that? So where was that? Remind me.
I can't remember now.
I thought to ask you.
There's a kicker in it. Got books on one of them. It's just tiredness, I think. Like the...
It's not.
No?
It's set up.
You reckon?
So that's at the point where we'd move it back. But we can double check it tomorrow now.
Day 1 done. Day 2. We survived Storm Lillian last night. Bit of a wild night in the vans.
Oh yeah. Up at 4:30 struggling with the pop valve.
Things already in progress. So we didn't have a volume spacer for the forks because I bottomed the forks out on a run yesterday. So
I just thought we haven't got any volume spaces, so I'll put some oil in the positive chamber like we used to do with the old air springs, but completely forgot. You can't do that with a negative positive volume system, and I've just blown a bit of extra oil into negative, so I've just got to get it back out. So normal service will be resumed in a few minutes. This is where you slow down.
from here?
No, just this.
Yeah, I know.
So have a try at a couple of different lines.
Ever actually looked at this? I used to always go straight.
I always go straight, yeah.
It's a hell of a sump out, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you think it would be better just letting yourself run wide and then coming back across? Because you've got a bit of something to land on here, and it's not, when you come down here, you've got a really big G out here before you take off. And it might be...
Yeah, I've never even seen that line. But yeah, if you come round.
Because you've got something to land on there, haven't you? You'd have
You
to
saying
be...
going round there or?
No, just this line.
Yeah.
That's still a sump out, isn't it, that line?
It is, but I pulled up off it and
it was smoother.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't pull up off it. I bottled it. So
I'm going to try this slowly and see if I can get across. I don't think it worked anything.
no, it was so slow to get across.
Yeah.
Bike still feeling good?
Yeah, bike feels great, yeah.
I'll do a couple of clicks at high speed because we're on a straight line and see if it gets you a bit more straight line confidence.
So how will that make it feel?
That should make it sit up momentarily, so
Yeah.
it'll still settle in for the turns,
Yeah.
but be momentarily higher on the impacts, which should mean the front wheel shouldn't do this on the fast stuff.
Okay.
Straight. It should be a little bit more stable, and this is an ideal place to test it here because it's fast and straight.
Right. Say again?
Nearly cleared it.
I know, and I didn't try that hard then.
Maybe because you were relaxed.
It felt better.
It felt better.
Yeah, I was just a bit nervous on it just to see how it felt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that felt great.
Excellent. Well,
Quick drink.
let's try that on
The top section.
Yeah, try that on the top section. Then we'll go back up and we'll do a run without shake.
Right, yeah. So, warm up lap, 2 clicks of high speed compression halfway down.
What we're trying to do is when the rider weight settles, so in the berms, it'll come down to a fixed point, which is the point where, you know, the spring supports the rider. But for momentary impacts like bump edges, we can hold the rider up, front or rear, with a bit more high-speed compression damping, so we can momentarily make the bike ride higher for a straight line to keep that stability, but we can allow it to settle because it's handling really nicely in the berms.
Yeah, it's perfect in the berms.
Yeah, so we don't want to spoil that, so we're just going to try a bit of high speed, and so far on the fast stuff it seemed to work quite well for George, so let's try it at the top.
Cool.
Steady as she goes, brother.
Right, we right?
Yeah.
Starting on 35.
Go.
It stopped the recording, I heard it beep.
Yeah.
Ah,
That's alright, it's fine.
tell me about that again.
It was quite fast going downhill there, because I've been grabbed in your toe, so I know what speed you're doing because I'm being pulled in your toe, and this time I couldn't quite get into your toe on the fast bit, and so I just really committed to that fast left-hand turn, went in wide, cutting close, let it fucking drift, and I just got close enough to get your slipstream before those two humps. But then with the slingshot of your slipstream, I couldn't fucking turn up into the jump, so I was like straight down the fire road.
So we started that run at 35 and we finished it, I don't know how to get this back now, it was at 5:42.
35:42, so that makes a 4. Is that a
5
5:10?
5:7 I think.
And what was yesterday? 5:10.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, that sounds pretty good.
5:07. Went a little bit faster
Yeah.
and got booked on the small table. Yeah, felt good in the berms.
Yeah. So that answers our question. It was settling into the berm, so you've still got your handling, but it's holding you up a tiny bit, so tipping you forward, so you're getting that bucking sensation. So if it's faster, but it's now too high momentarily on the straight, we'll lower the spring and we'll split the difference between the berms and the straights, the obstacle.
Right. So is that going back to where we were yesterday, more?
No. I'll just wind a little bit of that preload off, because we've got a negative spring. We can go backwards and forwards a little bit.
Cool. Trying something a bit different this time. Chainless run. See how we go on that 1 minute 20 section across the top. Let's do it.
Yeah, obviously the start was a little bit slow.
Yeah.
But when it started to pick up, the speed was really good, and it was really lively over, super lively over the jumps, wasn't it?
Yeah, it felt amazing. Yeah, until the GoPro turned itself off.
You nearly cleared the jumps without pedalling from. You were the same distance as normal.
Yeah. That whole section, but I don't think you pedal. Do I pedal for them normal? No. It felt great. Yeah. Be interested to see. Obviously, I'm going to struggle getting up this big one coming up.
Of course.
So let's see.
We'll walk up. That's going to add a second or two. It won't be for race runs, will it?
It feels amazing. Just some of the bits, you're just flowing. It's like.
So what you can do is put a neutral on. So because you've got some cheap cassettes, you can grind the 11 tooth off, so that the chain will go in both directions.
Went to pedal there. No pedal. Oh. It's not better than I've done. Oh, what a feeling that is! Yeah, it feels amazing. Yeah.
That's why I made a neutral gear.
Okay, so bike's feeling amazing, and just going to wrap things up. We're going to do a couple of runs down a couple of different trails, see how it feels on those. much fun. Thank you, Chris. Top 2 days.
Yeah,
Amazing.
that was brilliant.
So tell us a little bit, just to wrap up, about how what we've done these last 2 days would be different to if somebody was doing a bike setup with telemetry.
Well, if you're doing a bike setup with telemetry, you'll have certain data inputs into the telemetry system. You know, it's going to be suspension, travel and speed, and it's going to have a wheel speed sensor. You could have extra sensors, you know, brake pressure sensors, all of these things. So you're collecting data from a very, very small set. But what you're not collecting is the data between the rider and the bike, because there's no data on the rider's knee position, hip position, shoulder position, elbow position, head angle, back angle. It doesn't have any data on the rider. So it's a part of the picture, but you'll be trying to solve a problem that might simply be a rider position problem with the other tools. So you'll end up changing all the things that you've got parameters for on the data logging system to solve a problem that wouldn't have existed if the rider was in the right place and loading the bike in the correct manner. And you know, the idea that there's a magic compression speed versus rebound speed is, well, we've done that today. We've used the compression to temporarily hold you up on the high speed, and we've used the rebound against that to hold it down when it rose too high in certain sections. And if I then put that into the data logger, that's useful, but we had to find it out first. Trying to impose a balance on something, we got you balanced first, and then we jiggled about with the bike so that we could keep the steering good.
Yeah.
The data logger doesn't care about the steering. I asked about the steering, and we
the steering, that feels incredible.
Yeah, and so we focused on what we wanted to focus on instead of what the data suggested that we do. So yeah, I think, you know, data logging has its place, but you know, I'd be saying to you now, you've really enjoyed riding the bike for the last few months.
Yeah.
It's coming together. Now write the settings down. Don't bother writing them down at the start, because you start, well, as soon as you write it down, it becomes fixed in your mind. You know, as soon as you capture that data and say, you know, I like the rebound at this speed versus the compression at this speed, I like it to ride at this height, and I like, you know, it. You might not if you put yourself in a more comfortable position on the bike, which is that's essentially what we've worked on in the last 2 days. Our ideas coming in were really complex and many faceted. We had lots of parts ready to bolt on and try, but after contact tyres on the ground, it became really clear that it was a riding position thing that we needed to solve. And let's face it, you're a very tall bloke riding a bicycle that a person of this height, you know, the wheels, the person of this height would be riding a bicycle that would be just this different size-wise. So it's quite, you know, it was quite interesting that what we thought we'd do, all these clever things, we ended up just working on.
So bringing the seat stay mutators, the chain stay mutators, all those little bits.
And the bike handled fucking lovely. You know, the handling of a bicycle is, to a certain extent, the seat stay mutators, the chain stay mutators, bottom bracket height, head angle, all of these things. But it's nothing if you're not in the right place. If you're hanging off the back, or scared to commit, or so far off the front that you can't, you've got no bandwidth to move backwards and forwards, you can't drive the bike backwards and forwards, then you're in no position to make use of the handling. So once we sorted the rider space, the handling is good.
It's perfect. Can't wait to do the rest of the season. Boom. Hope you've enjoyed this special episode of the vlog, and a big thank you to Chris for the last 2 days. It's been awesome.
It has actually. It's been really good fun.
Good fun.
Dragging down the same track. It's like being a race but without pressure.
Boom.